Today we are going to do something different. We are going to look for models online. We are not going to create them from scratch. We are going to find the appropriate 3D models, and then we can download them and prepare them for PolyUp. So here we are on a website called Sketchfab. It's an amazing platform to share and sell and buy 3D models with like a big community of people who create mostly game and VR content. So that's really neat. So we are going to look online for models that are acceptable and that we can use. So let's look for, let's say, a plane. Here we have a lot of planes. This one looks very detailed. I don't think we can have that in PolyUp because it's a browser game. It's not a native game. And here you can see that it has like more than 200,000 vertices and almost 400,000 triangles. So this is definitely not going to work in PolyUp. See, if we click here on the model inspector and turn on the wireframe, you can see why. It's very realistic. It has a lot of small triangles that will crash your browser. You need to have like a really strong laptop to handle this model in PolyUp. So definitely we can use that. Let's look for others. Maybe this one. I like this one. It looks simple. Let me close this. So this model has only 1000 triangles or polygons, which is really fantastic. We can use that. And if we show, like, it doesn't have a lot of details, so we definitely can use this. However, if we go down, we can see that there is no option to download this file because the author has chosen not to share it with everybody. So he just wants to show off their modeling capabilities or skills. So there's that. So we can spend a lot of time looking through things, and some of these like have a price tag on them. They're not free. You need to pay to have them. So we definitely don't want that because I'm sure that you can find things that you can learn with here. So the first check, we need to check downloadable, and from here the licenses, we have a lot of licenses. You don't need to worry about all of these. These are basically to ensure that the author retains the rights to this model, because someone like spent tens or hundreds of hours making these models, so they want to be attributed or credited. So they choose the license that they want, and this is like for companies, mostly commercial uses and all that. But there's good news here. CC, which is Creative Commons license, which will enable us to reuse their models with the one condition, which is to mention their name, like the original author name, in wherever that model is published. So for example, if I used it in a game, I need to say their name in the credits of that game, like this guy or gal created this model that we are using in this game. So, and it's free most of the time. So let's uncheck all of these because we don't have a budget, and let's look for CC Creative Commons license. So for example, this one looks very detailed, but it has a lot of triangles. It has 7,000 triangles, and it has a lot of textures. Like these are texture file, image files that will increase the size of the model. So we can't use that, but the good news is that we can download it. We can modify it. Like for example, we can decrease the number and optimize the model to make it like maybe less than 1K or maybe like 500. Then we have improved the model to use in PolyUp, and we can do that. Just download, try to understand how they created their models. So here's a plane that I liked. It's really cool. I think it's very similar to PolyUp. This can be like easily put in PolyUp, and you can't say that this is too detailed or very different. We can minimize some of the details, like right here, and maybe in the wings as well. There are a lot of details. We can minimize them and bring this from 2K to 1K. Let's save this plane for later because it needs optimization, and try to look at something else. So if we come here and search for low poly, which means low number of polygons, we can find models that are mostly low in polygon count, like this fox. It's very simple. There are not a lot of details. If we search for like low poly house, we can find really simple houses like this one, or even this one. It's very simple. But let's look for something different. So if we search like low poly modular, this will show us building blocks similar to the ones that we have in PolyUp, and we can create a lot of interesting things from here. Like we have different road pieces, like we have ones, but these are different. You can tell maybe different stories with it. Here is like looks like a Japanese house, I think, I'm not sure, and etc. So this is the house as well. Let's take a look at that. So this whole library, everything here is 1.3 thousand triangles or polygons, which is very fantastic news. Which means this is a really simple library. It doesn't use much triangles, so we can use that. I think it's using some texture like for the walls, but that's okay. Now let's pick one. I have already searched. Like here is a castle. This castle is over 9,000, which is too much. If we take a look here, you can see why. Especially the stairs are holding a lot of information, and these bricks, these bricks like can be easily optimized. Let's look for something else. Here is an interesting library for any plumbers out there, which will let us create modular pipe systems for factories and stuff like that. I definitely want this in the game. However, it's over 31 K in triangles, which is a lot. I think most of the triangles are to create these little screws which is really unnecessary. We can just use a small hexagon here and it will do the job. We don't need this level of detail. So we have this, and I found this one. It's really cool for anyone who is into dungeons or stuff like that. However, this one is 187k, but that's mostly for like stuff like this figure here, this book. There is a lot of detail here, and you can see that it's lagging here. It's not very straightforward or easy to navigate, and it's using a lot of textures. Like everything here has textures, so this might not be the best the best option. So let's close that. This one as well is really slow, although it's just 5k, but it's using high quality textures like this. It's lagging and not very easy to navigate because of its large size. So let's close that, and we end up with the plane, the pipes, the castle, the walls, and let's see, do we need something else? Like here are some more road pieces. So what do you guys think? Which one should we try to create today? Walls, castle, pipes, or plane? This is interesting.
If nobody's going to say anything, I'm going to say plane.
Thank you.
But that's just. But no. What do you guys want? Speak up, guys. Somebody.
Sorry, I couldn't hear you.
The same one.
The same. Plane. Okay. Let's do plane. So here we need to pay attention. Don't close this page when you download a model. Save this page in your bookmarks and remember the author name and the link to this page, because we are going to add this link or this author name in PolyUp in the part description. So let's use that. Let's download 3D model. This model is free, but we need to be credited. He needs, or they need to be credited, and it makes it easier for you to credit the author from here. Now let's look at the formats. Fortunately, we have a GLTF format, auto converted from FBX format. FBX is a 3D format used mostly for games. So any character that you see in any game like Fortnite or whatever is mostly FBX file. But Sketchfab auto-converted this FBX to GLTF. We don't need to worry about this last one. Now here is a crossroad. If you need to optimize this plane, you need to download the original and fix it in Blender. If you don't think you will need to optimize this model, just download the auto converted. Let's try this one and see where it gets us. So we download, and I downloaded the file. Okay, so there seems to be a problem with the file. So let's download the FBX and then export it from Blender. So we download the original, and we unzip it, and here we go. So let me switch my screen to be Blender. Should be seeing my Blender now. Remove everything, file, import, and I choose FBX. I go to my downloads, source, FBX plane. So here is our plane. We see that it has 2000 triangles. So let's optimize it really quick. So I go into edit mode. These, like you can see that some of these edges are blue instead of black, like regular edges, and the reason is they are marked as sharp. So they go select this edge and go here and mark sharp or clear sharp. So basically they want this to be like this, not very smooth but very sharp. So let's first I want to remove this and this, and let's select this and move it down. Let's move it down by negative 0.16, and then we want this to be flat, so I select this face and I snap this in the y-axis, so it's 0. Okay, there's another way to do it. We just choose the magnet here and choose vertex and closest, choose it. Yep, we select everything and mesh, clean up, merge by distance, and we increase the distance, like maybe this. Okay, let's not worry about this little detail. It will take some time to fix it. So let's do the same here. GZ 0.16 in the negative. What we can do is also to detach this propeller. It's already detached, which is really nice. So yeah, it needs some optimization, but let's be enough. Like, just because we removed those little pieces, we decrease it from 200 almost at least 120 triangles. So these little details really do make an effect. So let's create anchors in here instead of 3JS because it will be easier. We don't want this physical sky thing. I think it's just for animation, for the preview purpose. We just delete hierarchy. We don't want it. We have a plane, and the plane meshes are like all over the place. We don't want that. We want them to be in one single mesh, or at least two. Sorry, at most two. So we select an Alt P to clear parent. Oh, so they're too big because the parent has some transformation. If we click N on the keyboard, we can see that there is rotation and other stuff. So let's apply the rotation. Apply rotation. Actually, let's apply all transforms. So apply all transforms. So now it's all zeros, and the plane itself has a scale value. We want it to be 1 instead of 0.01. So we apply all transforms. Same for these small pieces. Basically we want this to be like in the document we mentioned, we want this to be zeros and ones. So now we can Alt P clear parent and it will stay in the same place. Let's do this for the other ones. Okay, now that we cleared the parents, we need to remove all these empties. Now we have a plain object. Let's get these back to the plain object. And let's merge all these meshes together using the oh, I'm not showing shortcuts. Yeah. Using Control J command. So there's that. We have the wheels, we forgot the wheels. Fantastic. So we have this cube. What is this cube? Okay, this one.
Second place. I'm almost done with this one.
So we have the plane, so there is the mesh, and we have the propeller. Now the propeller is a separate part. We don't want it to be in the same part, so it will have its own anchors, so we can rotate it in the game. One thing is that this plane is huge. Like these squares are like very small compared to this plane. We want this to be maybe 1 unit in length. So let's go to item like we did before. In the y-axis we want it to be 1, and this is definitely not what we want, so we will copy the scale to other dimensions and then we apply. We need to do the same for the propeller. Okay, the propeller has animation included. If we go here, we can see the animation. We need to remove that. Just select all keyframes and hit X, because we don't want animation. We need to animate it using PolyUp. We apply and then we paste the same scale value. That's it. So let's add one anchor here and one anchor here and maybe an anchor on the top. So we select the plane and we select this point. I need to select the point. Okay, here is more room for optimization. All this can be one vertex. So we scale not to the 3D cursor but to the median point, scale 0. Okay, we didn't select all. Let's turn on X-ray mode, select all as 0. Awesome. And mesh cleanup, merge by distance. Just this bit turned it down from 2080 to 1800, just this bit. So it's a really good optimization place. We select the vertex, shift S cursor to selected, and we create our anchor. And yeah, go ahead please.
For the material, it looks weird.
Yes.
It doesn't like the original photo of the website. Is that because it's a FBX file or something?
Well, it's using. Let's check the material. The body is using a principal BSDF, which is translated from the FBX file. yeah, the FBX file uses different materials than this one. So this is auto-generated. So Blender tried to fix it, but it made it worse. Anyway, we are going to use a different shader in 3JS. Thank you for that question. We will use the fix the materials later, because neither of the Blender or FBX format has the ability to have the toon shader. Well, it has, but it's not built in. So let's come here. This is a lot of details. Let's dissolve these edges. And we are almost done. We are almost on time. So there it is. We just need to import it in 3JS and be done with it. So let's do that. We need to put this in the same file as this. Sorry, same group as this one. We need to change the origin. And this anchor, this propeller, and this are in this object. So we have our object, our file, and we export it to GLTF in here. That's okay. And let's go to 3JS. So it's black because there are no lights. Let's add lights. And here is our deformed plane. I think some of the normals are messed up, so we need to go back to Blender and fix that. Basically, we change this to toon material. Same with the other materials. So this is toon material as well, but the color is different. So maybe a dark blue. This last one is, maybe we can make this bit a little bit, or like give it the colorable value. And this is the wheels material. Wheels are dark blue. So here is the plane. You can see that it's missing a window. Problem is with normals. You remember normals? We went over that in previous calls. One fix for that is just make the normal side double. Same for the windows. Now we can see everything. It's better to have it one side, but we will fix those tomorrow. So let's finish for today, and tomorrow we can continue working on this plane and fixing all the issues that we find, and hopefully create another library, maybe from these pipes, for example, or any other modular library. So thank you for joining us. I will have the recording up as soon as possible, and see you tomorrow. If you have any questions, please mention me on Discord.
Right.
Thank you. Bye bye.